Hello, everybody. I am Jarrett Ross, the GeneaVlogger, and welcome to another GeneaVlogger live stream. Today, I'm finally doing it, and I'm going to be building your family trees. Tripping up on my words a little bit there. So this is something I've thought about doing for a long time. I think I've mentioned it a few times. Let's make sure my light's looking pretty decent there. Okay. I think I've mentioned it a few times, and I finally came up with an idea that I think will work. I'll mention a little bit beforehand some of the places I think we may end up with some difficulty with it, but we're going to try to get through it, and I may adjust as we go through. The first thing I'm going to say is that there's a Google form to submit if you want to have your tree worked on. And the Google form basically asks, your YouTube and Twitch name, because one thing I wanted to require is that you actually be in the chat when I do this, because one, I want to be able to talk with you about it. You know, I'll ask you questions and such that I hope you answer. But then also I figure, that's kind of a fair thing that the people that are here are the ones that actually get to be chosen. So that's going to be one thing. The other thing is, what's the main goal of the research? So I know some people might kind of want to just think of like submitting one thing, but obviously I'm limited on time with a stream, and I want to do a couple of different people in each stream. So, we don't want to spend too much time with it. So kind of let me know what's the main goal that you have going on with it. And then kind of general stuff, names, dates, locations, what have you done in an attempt to solve this goal, and a link to any public family trees that you have for that ancestor. So whether it be Ancestry, WikiTree, Genie, or even multiple. And then if you have other stuff you want to include, like let's say you have unique documents or maybe just a little bit more info you want to give, go to the subreddit r/GeneaVlogger and post it there. And one of my mods, Blackberry Rose, who's absolutely wonderful, went and set it up so that there's a special flare when you make the post so that you can say that it is part of this. And then, yeah. So basically, I'll have you link that to me if you get chosen. So the way that it'll work is the Google form tells me how many people have submitted. I have this lovely random number generator pulled up on Google, just Googled random number generator. So I'm going to put however many we have in there and it'll generate the number. I'll go and see what submission number that is. And that's the person that'll get chosen. Now, some difficulties that I foresee with this. The biggest thing is because it's a limited amount of time and it's not like a long project, some of the really hard brick walls that I'm sure a lot of people would love me to really dive into are not going to be super useful in these streams. Like I may be able to give ideas of, where would I go and what would I do in terms of getting into that research, which is something that may still benefit you. But I think where this is really going to be helpful is especially for people who are kind of more at the beginner stage or maybe intermediate stage of doing genealogy and are still trying to kind of just get the basics sort of in there or try to figure out different stuff that maybe, someone like myself who has a lot of experience would be able to quickly kind of show. Because the way I'm thinking it, most of my streams end up being about an hour to 2 hours. I'm hoping to spend 30 to 40 minutes per each person chosen. And then that will, hopefully give enough time to build stuff out. My backup plan, if everything that's kind of chosen is basically just ending up me being, oh, well, this is what I would suggest you do, or this is what I'd suggest you do. I may change it up to having people just submitting specific ancestors where even if you have a family tree built for them, just submitting an ancestor that I then build a tree out for them. The reason why an ancestor and part of the difficulty of trying to figure out how to do this live stream is privacy issues. I don't want to deal with accidentally, doxing people or showing family trees and private stuff for people. So, that in the forum, you'll actually see that I mention, do not submit anything for anyone who was born after 1930 or anyone who died after 1960. Basically, just keep it really safe as best possible. So that's the basics. I'm going to give a little bit of time for people to submit. We already have 8 submissions so far. We did have a few from some people who were on my Discord. I announced this last night on my Discord that it was going to happen. And so my Discord users got a little bit of a lead in submitting theirs to possibly be the first person chosen. But while people submit, I'll go through and do a bunch of our hellos. I mean, we're jumping off pretty quickly here. We usually don't reach into the 50s until at least 20 or 30 minutes in. So this is great to see. Starting off with our Faroe Islands representation, Weeping Scorpion. This is going to be pretty cool. Looking forward to this one. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to this one too. I'm so ready for it. Anna Tommaso coming from Western New York. Looking forward to see you explore your audience members. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Sharon Phillips, hello from New York. Hello, Sharon. Good to have you. We have Avery from England. Katie Gray from Ohio, which I think, Katie, I saw you were one of the people that already was able to submit. So that's awesome to hear. Or not see. Sorry, I'm getting texts while I'm doing this, throwing me off a little. PZ, hi from East LA. I'm looking forward to this stream. Mind you, I enjoy all your streams. Well, that's awesome to hear. Thanks, PZ. Coming out from East LA, which is actually where some of my ancestors are buried in East LA, in Boyle Heights, actually. Tasha Carl, hello from Minnesota. Hello, Tasha. Good to see you. Always good to have you. And then my own post, here's the Google form. I also have the Google form in the description on YouTube. It's probably going to be a little bit harder for my Twitch users. I got 2 over on Twitch right now, which good place to announce. I do also stream on Twitch. So if you're on Twitch as well, whether you prefer YouTube or whatever, follow me there. Helps me out. And if you're on Twitch and you don't follow me on YouTube, do that. Julia Joyce, hello. Good to have you. Nick, goedenavond van Groningen. Hoe gaat het daar? Alles goed hier. Dankjewel. And jij ook. Hopefully good too. Hello, Mom from North Carolina. It's my mom, everybody. Douglas Huseman, back again from Texas. Good to have you, Doug. Thank you for joining. Jan Devan, hi from Netherlands. Hope you're doing well. Matt Fast, good evening from Sweden. Hello, Matt. Good to have you. Always good to have our Scandinavian representation, which we always have a pretty good representation from Scandinavia, I want to say. Rob coming in. Goedenavond vanuit Kent in the UK. Goedenavond. Hoe gaat het? Simply Smarter Shopping. Hello from California. Hello. Thank you for joining. Mom Pafelski coming in from Southern Idaho. Hello, y'all. Thanks for joining. Miskal Oppenheimer, hello from San Jose. Or Mishkal. I say Miskal. Sorry. Hello from San Jose. Thank you for joining. We've got Alan coming in from Madison, Wisconsin. Hello, Alan. And then Miskal giving us the breakdown. We have Sajuka coming in from Ukraine. Hello. Always wonderful to have you. Always thinking about you with everything going on in Ukraine. So always glad to see you in the chat, knowing that you're doing okay. Blake is here. Hello from Wales. Hello, Blake. Good to have you. Loving the countdown screen. It's fun. Glad to hear that. I'm not sure if you're talking about the intro screen where I have little images of my face popping up here and there. But also the 30-second countdown, which actually is part of StreamYard. They did that for me. So that part's easy. We have Eric Sheridan coming in from Kansas City, Missouri. Hello, Eric. Thank you for joining. Good to have you. We have Janice, hello. Hey, I guess Janice IDK, I don't know. John Tyner, one of our wiki treers. Hello, John. Good to have you. And one of our Discordians, I guess you could say, CTC the historian. Hello, everyone. This is going to be a cool stream. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Let's see. We're up to 10 responses. Okay, so we've gotten a few more. Mr. Fum, hello, everybody. Hello, Mr. Fum. Thank you for joining. And then we have Daniel M coming in from Bristol, UK. Hello, Daniel. Maven, I was planning on sending you the toughest brick wall I ever broke, but I let you off easy today. Yeah, I would. I mean, you know, maybe I'll figure out something where someone gets chosen for like a real in-depth research sort of thing or something. But, you know, it does take a lot of work for some of these brick walls. Daniel, that map is London, trying to work out when. Yeah, you are correct. That is London. I guess I'll just have to wait and see what you say. I know what timing it is, and I guess, well, no, that I guess I don't know. It's too much of a hint, but enough of a hint that, you know, it was during a time when my family was living there. So, oh yeah, I saw that. Miss Tree Moon coming in from North Carolina. Hello, Miss Tree. Good to have you. Dan Edwards. Hola, ¿cómo está? Muy bien, y tú, gracias. Jan de Veen, before you start, Ancestry just released an update for October 2024. The Netherlands was introduced as a new region in what is now called Origins, was ethnicity, which I know a lot of people are happy about because the term ethnicity is a little packed. Sorry, I'm taking my shoes off, trying to get comfortable, realizing that I'm going to be sitting here for a few hours. I don't need to wear my shoes. Get that put up too. Charge that while I'm doing this. Yeah, they just rolled out the Ancestry stuff. I'm actually considering what type of content I want to make from this. I've already seen Connie from Genealogy TV released a video about the Ancestry update. Amy Johnson Crow released an update about it this morning. I was thinking about doing something, especially with the fact that I have so many DNA kits that I run that are from various Jewish ancestral backgrounds, largely meaning a mixture of people with Ashkenazi and Sephardi mixes, including some who are 100% Sephardi, and also some Caribbean Sephardim. So a lot of mix of that. So I was thinking kind of doing something like that. But one thing that's really big with my community in Discord that I was thinking I might actually make a short of, because I don't make many shorts, is hacking the DNA results. And so I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to leave that for all of you to stew with, of what hacking the DNA results. But if you want to learn more about that, go on over to my Discord. Not sure if any of my admins, I think some of them are in here. So if they want to post the Discord, you can go on over and do that. Still only sitting at 10 submissions. So I'm, if you don't have something to submit, you don't have to. If it's not like a brick wall, you don't have, it doesn't have to be a brick wall thing either. If you have a great grandparent, you're like, oh, I want to see him build this stuff out and show people on live stream, submit them as something. And if that's the case, then you can just put in for the question of what's the main goal of the research, just for me to build out the tree. Something like that. So everyone can join. You don't even have, it doesn't have to be a serious, like, oh, I want that, I need help solving this. It could just be something fun of, I want to show this off. Cindy Vredenberg, hello from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Hello, Cindy. I had to take a second to try to figure out how to say the name, and I don't know if I said your last name correctly, but hello, thank you for joining. And then let's see, Jan's breakdown, which, yeah, the thing that he mentioned that I didn't harp on is that one of the new readings is Netherlands. Now he's 98% Netherlands, 2% Germanic Europe. Before the update was 77% Germanic Europe, 15% Sweden and Denmark, 8% Norway, which makes sense when you think about not having the Netherlands or even just Low Countries as a defined population group. Well, if you don't have that defined, what would you think it would fall into? And that certainly makes sense. So that's interesting. Now the 98% Netherlands and the 2% Germanic Europe, especially if you have some sort of third or fourth great grandparent or something who is of like more of a Germanic ancestry or something, or I guess maybe even would, maybe Frisian would kind of be closer to German ish. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm just kind of thinking of like, location north, and I don't know. I'm going to blow my nose. Starting to get a little colder out here in North Kakalaki. Blake's here. For the famous people tree streams, you should do Chris Chan. Well, with how everybody reacted to P. Diddy, I'm guessing Chris Chan would be even worse. I mean, granted, it was not a large, or it was a minority of people who really hated that I did P. Diddy for a live stream, but it was a much larger amount of people hating on it than my typical, people just hate on some YouTubers, and I get that. But this one was different. I mean, even Matt Baker from Useful Charts was like, not a good choice. So John Tyner, I gained 2% Netherlands on new Ancestry update. Yeah, I think the one that a lot of people would be interested to see is my the Sephardi results for the kits that I manage, which I've already looked at some of them, and it's somewhat interesting because Sephardic Jewish was one of the new population groups they rolled out too. So they rolled out a few Jewish readings. Sebastian Levy, hello from Isle of Man. Hello, Sebastian. Thank you for joining. Paradise Loading, hello from Philadelphia. Hello. Miss Tree, I may have answered the question wrong. I'm not familiar with Reddit. It's okay. If you're not familiar with Reddit, you don't have to post anything there. The Reddit part of the submission is more of just, if you have extra stuff that you want to post about, which I probably should have explained this in the forum. I just figured I'd explain it on stream. But if you have extra stuff that doesn't really fit in the forum, like especially documents and stuff, then you can put it on Reddit, and then it makes it just easy for me to look up. Oh, yes, it was my face popping. Thank you, Julia. Audi, hello. Thank you for joining. Well, our wonderful admin mod, I can never remember what the official title is. Charlie, thank you for joining. Katie Gray, the one I submitted is a brick wall that has a common surname. Okay. Yeah, I think the first 5 I saw, it was like, I was a little worried because I was like, these are some actual serious brick walls here. Adam, good evening from Swindon, England. Biros? I don't know what that letter stands for, the S with the sort of V punctuation. Interesting. HR, hi, all from Northern Hemisphere. Well, hello from the Northern Hemisphere. I'm also Northern Hemisphere. Good to have you. Diane Southard released a short too. Okay, yeah, I hadn't seen that, but I imagine, they're all her, Amy Johnson Crow and Connie Knox are really good at getting videos out, and all of their quality's gotten really good. Amy Johnson Crow especially, I think her channel is possibly going to overtake mine in the next year or two if she keeps up with everything that she's doing, because her videos have gotten really good quality, really good thumbnails, really a lot of really good stuff in terms of the YouTube algorithm stuff that I see. So I honestly think her channel is going to take off. Alan, Ancestry updated, most amazing 2% from Channel Islands and Cornwall. Okay, interesting. Okay, I think we're getting into, we're out of kind of the hellos and everyone's kind of chatting. So I think we still have the 10 responses for now. So we'll just do that for now. I mean, that's more than enough. But if you have not submitted, definitely feel free to submit. And once again, It doesn't need to be a brick wall. In fact, it's probably better not to be a serious brick wall. Granted, I will still try to work on those, but even if you just want me to build out a grandparent or a great grandparent or something like that, it's someone that has to have died before 1960 and have been born before 1930, just to try to keep privacy not an issue. So with that said, we're at 11 responses. Someone submitted, right? It is saying that. So we're going to set this to 11. And whoever gets chosen, I am showing the screen. Okay, whoever gets chosen, number 4. All right, so number 4, individual. All right, number 4. And so the first thing, okay, so now this one I'm going to give a little bit of leeway. All right. So this one I'm going to give a little bit of leeway because this was one of the first 5 people to submit. And I didn't add this until after I'd first shared it for like the first hour or 2 on Discord. So some people didn't submit their username. If this is you, as we go through it, if you recognize this is you, let me know. But otherwise, if they aren't in here, we're not really gonna, I guess, technically know. But because if they're not in here, I guess that's where I'm giving the leeway in the sense that I didn't really have this part announced at that time. But hopefully they should be in here. I'm going to keep my eye out for it. But we're going to go through what they've got so far, and then we'll get going. So I'm going to move this over here. Okay, so going back as far as I can with my Fuchs. This is gonna. I'm just gonna say Fox. Try to avoid saying it. Line brick wall, and then we have this Joseph Fox, born June 29th, 1888, possibly Grodno or Krinky in Belarus. So I guess that would have been Bessarabia at that time. We'll have to look into that. According to his World War II draft card, dies November 29th, 1953 in New York City. Hirsch Fox, I guess maybe brothers. Mother Ida Black, father Abraham Fuchs, like fuchsia. Fuchs. That kind of sounds like a New Yorker trying to say, Fuchs. I don't know. But okay, Fuchs. All right, so we've got the Fuchs family, and then we've got a link to the family search tree. I'm going to put it in here because I'm sure I'm going to have to log in. Yep. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Okay, so this is what we are working with. So I guess yeah. So one of the things that's kind of maybe useful here, because I don't get into the family search trees much on the channel. I usually just use it for searching records and stuff. When I'll talk about what I usually do when I find a tree on here. So the first thing I'll do, obviously, is kind of go through this general stuff and come down here to see what they've got for the parents, for the family. And like right now, I'm just doing a real general sort of overview. But then what I'll also do is I look over here at what are the latest changes. And that kind of gives me an idea. Okay, Jennifer. Okay, so that must be who submitted this because I recognize her name from the Discord. So I don't know if she's in here. Jennifer, if you're in here, let me know. Although if you're not in here, you're going to be the only person who's going to get chosen where you're not here, and I'm still going to do it just because I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. But okay, so just kind of going through and seeing what we've got. It looks like deleted here, and then okay, yeah. So this is all 2023, so not a lot of update. Oh, is it Jennifer? Is that you, Ascertain? or you're friends with Ascertain and she knows that you just came in. Let me know. Let me know. I'll keep my eye out. Okay, so just kind of seeing, you know, what's been going on. It's largely been Jennifer working on this, which is a good sign, because one of the things to consider when looking at family trees on Family Search is that this is a collaborative family tree, meaning all sorts of people can, okay, good to hear. All sorts of people can edit this. So if all sorts of people can edit this, then basically when you look at who's changing it, if you see a lot of different people changing it, you need to keep that in mind as you go through, because that also means that there's kind of a higher possibility of error sometimes, especially if it's a lot of people maybe editing a profile that they aren't very experienced in genealogy. But we see that it's mostly Jennifer, no major edits in the past year or so, you know, basically this stuff in November. And then sources, this is where Family Search really shines. So we've got all these different sources. So we've got the arrival at Ellis Island. Let's see, can I make this even larger this way? Yeah. No. There we go. All right. Okay, so there we go. We have Yosef Fuchs, 17. He's a tailor, Russia, Hebrew. Last residence, Ordenka. Final destination, New York. Ordenka. Or Juka? Huh. Interesting. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm logging into my Jewish Gen account, because I'm going to utilize what's known as the Town Finder. So in the submission, it's believed coming from Grodno or Krinky, which is possible. The thing that we need to focus on here is last residence. So even if they were from Grodno, born there, or whatever, or this or Juka or Danka, whatever it is also something. So we definitely want to look into that. I'm just checking chat to see if anyone might have any guesses. Okay, I don't see any guesses as to the town. So now here, Jewish Gen, we're going to go into Discover. We're going to go into Town Finder. And we're just going to type in Ordenko, what it looks like. So we've got nothing. So Orchuka, okay. So now I'm going to see Ordenko, Russia. Podolsk. So we've got people from Kherson, Kiev, Podolsk, Zhytomyr, Sertoy, Austria, Lidowisk, Yas. So we're getting people from kind of all over. Ord. See, definitely it looks like Ord. Does this guy have another O? Okay, so we have an O here, Ostra to the S. So that's definitely an OR. So what I'm doing right now is I'm analyzing the town name by analyzing what other things this person's written to try to see, like, okay, I'm reading this as a D, but could this actually be a C? So it's like Orklenka, you know, or Slenka or something, or, you know. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to see if I can find another D, which we have here in Podolsk. Just see some more, just to see, is that a D or could it be a CL? The L's are pretty shaped there. It's still kind of shaped. That could be Orlenka or Orsolenka. Yeah, he does the very angled eyes. Very angled eyes. Let's see. I don't see any guesses in chat. Okay, I don't see any guesses in chat. Let's try. Orlenka. Search. Okay. Now I'm going to go slightly different route. We're going to do starts with. And I'm not just looking over here on the left. I'm looking over here to see what might match up in some sort of way. Okay, so nothing there. So let's try the Ord. Ordeka. Interesting. Ordevka, Ordeka, I guess it would. That could be it, because especially with the V, I mean, I'm assuming, you know, W, that, I mean, it sounds very Polish-esque type thing, which then have a V-ish sound, I believe. And if that is a V, granted, it's a very curved V, you know, but then again, this guy's W's also are very kind of curved and not quite as angled. So, or, but okay, so. Yeah, nothing there. Yeah, huh. Okay. Let's see what it says here. So we have the brother here, Hirsch. And then what number is he? Number 5. Oh, just the affidavit. Okay. Okey-doke, yeah. So that adds a little bit of stuff with it, in just the sense of, if we can figure out what town this is referring to, that would be a place where we would want to look for records. It could possibly be a Polonized version of a name that starts with a U. So maybe, okay, yeah, let's try that. Let's try starts with. No, that's Erdoman. Devka. Yeah, something. It's something interesting. And I mean, it's not the first time I've seen random little towns where it takes forever to figure out where it actually is coming from. I mean, I've seen, if anyone's in the Jewish Gen or Tracing the Tribe Facebook groups or any other forums of stuff, it's crazy. Horodenka. Okay, maybe that's it. But it's crazy how long some of these conversations can go before they figure it out. Interesting. Yeah, so that could be it. So this could be it, and don't know for sure, but obviously knowing where the family is from, they're somewhere in, where's Grodno? Can't I find Grodno? Oh, there we go. Grodno. So not super close. So it is possible. So just something to know, because especially with a name like Fuchs or Fox or whatever, I'm guessing that might be a name where you find enough people, enough results where you can't link all of them up. So sometimes it can be important to know the town. So now that we've got this town, let's do some research, because I know most of the research we're going to do is in here anyway. And just so we can, let's pull this up again. So first we're going to look and see what this brings up. But if it brings up a lot, we can do a town for Horodenka. Or another trick is any field. We're just going to start with this, just see. Why are Polish names so weird? Probably just because they utilize letters you're used to, but in a way that's slightly different. Yeah. Or Denka is my guess. Yeah, I mean, right now I'm feeling like this this Horodenka that seems to be the closest. And that is something I've seen where, names like this won't have the H when it's in, American, or not even American, but like English written records. Okay, so Fuchs, yeah, we get a ton of people. That's a ton. And then looking here, I mean, look, we got thousands of record for each. So yeah, that's definitely an issue. So let's see if this helps at all, bringing stuff down. Oh, wow. Okay, so that cleans it up a lot. And we actually end up getting some Polish records in Stanislav. Is that close to... I don't know where Stanislav is. But if it's in this like Suwalki, Litvak sort of area, it could all be very stock. All right, so we have Stanislav and then Tarnopol as well, which where is Tarnopol? I don't know where Stanislav or Tarnopol. I need to stop covering my mouth while I talk. I'm on the stream. I do that so much when I'm thinking. Oh, it's Western Ukraine. Oh, it was Galicia area. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, and if that's the case, then that actually makes some sense right there for Tarnopol. Actually, let's see what we've got here. So, and the main thing that we're looking for to know, this is what we're working off of. We've got Joseph, a sister Annie, a brother Hirsch, parents Abraham and Ida. And so looking at this, we've got a bunch of births. Yeah, Abraham and Yenta, but mother surname's different. Clicking around, Abraham, Ida. 1875, Bosnia, 1913. Probably not them. Okay, so nothing really there. Crime Fox. So, what is this? Is this marriage? Okay, not him. Stanislav is Ivano Frankov. Frank's that. Can't talk. Where was it? I swear I saw it like a second ago too. Oh, yeah, right there. Okay, Ivano Frankivsk. I always, whenever I always, I always find it's easier for me to look at the Cyrillic to get the proper pronunciation than trying to pronounce it through the English not the translation, the transliteration. Okay. I'm not sure if Annie is a sister, though. I was trying to figure out who Hirsch's wife was in the passenger record. Okay, so in the passenger record, got that. What do you have on her? Oh, you really don't have a whole lot on her. Okay. You know, let's dive into Hirsch a little bit. Search. Because we do have, I mean, we have this address for him. Brother Hirsch. CO. Care of some 202 Eldridge Street, New York. Yeah. Yeah, what have you Jennifer, have you looked into Hirsch at all? Because that's where I'm thinking. Now, what was the generalized age? Did you have one? Don't know. But Joseph's 1888, Annie's 1875. Joseph's 17 when he's coming over to his brother who's already established here. So presumably I would think this is an older brother. So let's just make it a 3 years older. So we're going to set it 1885 for the birth year. And we'll make it 10 years just to be safe. Actually, since we're doing the 10 years, we're going to make it 1880. So let's see what comes up. 202 Eldridge Street in Manhattan. I've tried, don't know much about him. Okay. Okay, so let's also see what that brings up for us. All right. 24,951 Eldridge, probably not the same guy. 200 Eldridge. Residence. No, what's the residence number? Barnett. Okay, we have Joseph here. And they're listing Romania, house number 211. It is 202. But it is certainly interesting. What date's that's 1904, the arrival? 1905. So brothers arriving 1905. So presumably this Joseph, because I was just thinking, Joseph would have come earlier. Immigration year 1899. Because the other thing is with a name like Hirsch, I'm very much assuming that he's going to anglicize it. Here we've got 171. 211. See, the other thing too is it's not uncommon in my experience to find sometimes the addresses may be a little bit off here. So I don't know if maybe that is it. Okay, let's go back to Joseph. Let's look at some more of his records too while we do this, because I do want to look through here. I mean, we've got this Barnett who's, I mean, this is 15 years after the arrival. So, you know, especially in Manhattan, very possible that they've moved around, changed. And then here too, looks like okay, that was the last name changing. Year immigrated 1905. Naturalization. Yeah. So what's the 251, 249? Okay. All right. So nothing's popping up right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually take out the birth year. Eldridge, Zach. Let's see what we get here, how much we get. Then we're getting some people's trees over here. We'll take a look at that. Because sometimes it's actually useful to look at others' trees too to get an idea, you know, instead of having to go and build out all of this stuff, you can get a look at a tree, look at the record, see if it makes sense, and then kind of use that in a quick and dirty method in a sense, you know. If it makes sense, then obviously you want to dive in more, but a quick and dirty method of look at it, see, does it seem to match in some way? 1902. All right, let's do. Did they have the 1905 in New York? Can't remember if New York had. No, okay. So this family is the only one living there. House number 211. Joseph. All right. So looking through here then, 1907, we've got marriage. Now here we're getting Aaron. So not Abraham, but Aaron, which is interesting to me because let's clear all that. Is I noticed this. Granted, you know, Risa, Leia, and you've got Ida, but you know, in my family, I've got an ancestor where we have her as Beatrice, Jenny, Annie, and gosh, what was her Hebrew name too? There was another one that was like her Hebrew name. So it's like all over the place. Oh yeah, Basia. So it's like, yeah. So that certainly could be part of it. So this area. So let's look at this. I don't know if you've done DNA testing, but if you've done DNA testing on Ancestry, this is also a trick to try to find matches where if you've done DNA testing, go to this user's, you know, page and it'll show in the top right DNA relationship, and then you can choose, you know, what to you know, who you want to compare if you're comparing someone other than yourself. Okay, yes, New York State is 1905 census. Yeah, because 1905 census, the reason why I bring that up is if you can find that census and find the street and look for 202, I mean, presumably, unless they moved away or moved there, you know, around the time of the census, you'd probably be able to find them. I've done 23andMe and MyHeritage, still have yet to do Ancestry. I'll definitely do Ancestry. Definitely try it. But I mean, here we're getting the same thing where it's this Fuchs family and they're changing it to Fox as well. But then to add the interesting part is that they're on Eldridge Street. And I mean, they're house number 8. So, you know, a little bit down there. But then let's see what they have. They've no clue with that. Not tied to anything. Let's see. And they've got it in Minsk. Use border crossings to Canada. Going by Reuben here, age, arrival. But this would have been, okay, Reuben, 1838. and 18. So Reuben would not be a sibling or something, but I guess it's the similarities certainly add some interest to this. Just referencing a ancestry tree. Okay. So yeah, you're getting all the stuff. Yeah. So all right. Well, we're getting to about 30 minutes here. I haven't really gotten any serious traction yet, but granted, it is still it's a lot of kind of basic stuff to kind of go through to figure it out. We will. So Joe Fox, painter, Grodno. We have before. Then Joseph Fuchs, July 17th, 1905, SS Fernacia, which that's what we have there. So that's the reference to that record. Okay. So let's see the next page. Yes, district. Okay. Citizen 1920. So, the big question I have for you, and I feel like I've seen you mention this actually in the Discord, so you might have actually done it. Have you gone to the USCIS website to try to obtain any of the A file or C file? This is something that not everybody knows about necessarily. It's, I guess, I would say it's a bit more on the intermediate side of genealogy, not necessarily like advanced or whatever. Oh yeah, I guess A files would be too early. But all right, let's go to naturalization records. They don't list the files. Okay, let's. Okay, so C files you should have. You should be able to find granting of naturalization. It goes into a lot of the information. But this is where I would go, because especially a lot of stuff that I'm doing, I've seen your responses of kind of like, this is what I've already done, or I've already kind of done that. So this is where I'd go into it. And yeah, here, let's take a look at what some C files look like. So yeah, I guess they don't show you a whole lot, but so yeah, you kind of get, it may end up being some repetitive stuff, but there may be that one little hint that might be helpful. The other thing to also look into is just kind of look at what other USCIS records are available. Yeah, no thanks. Here we go. There we go. So here's the list of the main records. A files are kind of a big one, but obviously it's a little limited. Yeah, all immigrants arriving from 1944 to 1951. But then you also have AR2s. I'm not really familiar with that. That one's okay, yeah, right. And then there's the registry files, and then you can also order visa files. So yeah, so lots of stuff. So I think at this point, that would be one of the biggest things I would look into. Some other stuff I would look into, I'd probably look into this Boris Krivitsky and Harry Rogovsky You know, both being painters and Joe Fox being a painter, I'm guessing that that's how they knew each other. And by looking into them, maybe you can learn a bit more about where he was working, and sometimes that can uncover more information. The last thing I'll just kind of harp on again is that in the immigration file, which we know for sure is your Joseph, it seems to be listing Horodanka. So I would possibly look into that. And, it says specifically last permanent residence, not where they were born, just last permanent residence. So if you see that there's a record set from Horodanka in 1905, which, you're going to have to look into what records are available around that area and all that. And as you probably already know with Jewish research and the Pale of Settlement, sometimes it's difficult to see what's available. But see, if you find records that are, Horodanka or so, 1905, 1904, 1903, and it's something where every, the people that he would fit into in demographics were counted in there, so example, maybe there was like a military men's military sort of census. I don't know if there was in that area necessarily. The big one everyone quotes is 1875. But sometimes there's a lot of stuff like that where maybe there's a record set that you would expect him to be in there in that. And that may be able to tell you more. Because the other issue with an area like Grodno is Grodno isn't just the city. It's also, I guess it's a county would be the best way to put it. So it's, it's a large area. So, could it be Grodno? Could it be something else? And the other question is, with the Grodno listing, that's obviously coming from these naturalization records. That's saying born in Grodno. But the other question is, how long did they live? How long did he live there? Because maybe that, born in Grodno and was out in Horodanka by the time he was 2. Voivodeship. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's hard to keep track of, Voivodeship, Gubernia, Uyezd, Povit, all those different names. So those are all the suggestions that I would have with that. So, all right. So with that, I think, we're now up to 16 responses. So we're going to go back and do another number generator and choose somebody else. I guess at this point, I should say for all of those who have come in a little bit later than usual, I have a Google form if you'd like to submit for me to research your family tree on stream. The requirements is that it cannot be someone who is born after 1930, and it can't be someone who died before or died after 1960. Which maybe I should put that a little later, because when I was looking at the one we were just doing, he died like 1956 and born in the 1880s. So maybe I should make it more like 1970 or 1980 or something. I don't know, but I should also mention here again, as much as I know a lot of people would love me to like dive into brick wall research, I'm only going to try to spend a half hour to 40 minutes on each person's tree. So it doesn't have to be a brick wall, and it's probably better not to necessarily be a brick wall. If it's maybe a place in your tree that, it's not going to be super, crazy to research, not like, oh, we're going to have to spend hours in an archive thumbing through stuff to figure out. But something where it's like, oh, I just haven't spent the time to build that. Or maybe you're more of a beginner and you'd like to have something built. Or maybe you just have a great grandparent that you think would be cool to look at on stream because they had such an interesting life or something like that. So the Google form is in the description if you're on YouTube. For those of you who are on Twitch, I shared it in the chat, and there's probably barely any Twitch chat going on because I usually never have much. So you can probably see the form there. So go ahead, enter in. Now I'll try to give a couple of minutes to let some people submit if they have not yet and didn't realize that that's how they submit. But here's what the questions are asking. And I should move that over there. So yeah, we'll let everyone kind of respond. And actually, while I'm thinking about it, I guess I can kind of go through chat and just saw a bunch of people asking random questions about stuff, so was focused on the research. Oh, I see Eric Kidder had some Fuchs in his family too, it looks like. But I want to say that's a pretty common name, isn't it? Blake is here. Who will be the focus of your next family tree stream? I don't know. I figured I'd see how well this went, and I don't think I'll do these build your family tree ones every week, or every main channel stream, so every other week. But I'm thinking I might actually do this a good bit now. But for the next family tree stream, I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. I always try to find people who are trending, just because I really do want to try to get more people into the stream and watching it. And, maybe there's some genealogy nuts out there that don't yet realize they're genealogy nuts, and me doing a stream on something trending that just catches their eye, gets them. Hence why I tried P. Diddy 2 weeks ago, much to the chagrin of some folks. But in terms of some that I had in mind, one person that I actually had in mind, because this is a comedian that I feel like is very much talked about all the time nowadays, and is big into history and has talked about his family history in multiple places, and that's Shane Gillis. Big Kill Tony fan, big fan of comedy and stuff. Actually, like, really big fan of like up and coming comics and stuff too. Like, I've always kind of been into comedy. My dad actually was a stand-up comedian, and that's why I'm not a Goldberg. That's why I'm a Ross, because he had a stage name, changed it to Ross, which was also a family name because that was my grandmother's birth name. But yeah, so really into the comedy scene and all that. And so Shane Gillis, when I saw a podcast of him talking about his like family and other stuff, and like he even talked about there's an interesting connection between his family and the driver that ended up killing Joe Biden's wife and daughter back in 80s, I think it was. But there was like a connection where the driver was actually on his way to make a delivery to the Gillis family farm or something like that. So kind of interesting. So when I saw him talking about that, I was like, oh, that'd be such a cool one to go into. And he's into history and he watches stuff on YouTube and all that. Like, I think I've even seen him mention in some podcasts, YouTube stuff, that it's like, wait, I know the channel he's talking about. So maybe I'd be able to get Shane Gillis watching my stream if I did his family tree or something. So that was one I was thinking about. All right, let's see. Any new submissions? No new submissions yet, but some people might be filling it out, so I'll give them a couple of more minutes. I also do have some more chats. I wonder if I should put myself on the list. I've already charted most of my ancestry 300 plus years back, but it would be interesting to see if you find the right ancestors, pharaohs being such a small area. Honestly, that was kind of, when I started doing this, kind of what I was thinking was almost like what the Wiki Tree Challenge does, where, a lot of what they are building is stuff that I've already found, but then they're also kind of going over it and they were finding stuff that I didn't find, or they were kind of interpreting things slightly different that was like, oh, interesting. That might be something so for anyone who wants to submit, but you're not sure because you already have a lot built out, you would really just be interested in seeing me build out a tree, that you've already done, definitely do it. Because honestly, I feel like the ones where we know we're going to find stuff are probably going to be much more useful to the whole audience, as opposed to the brick wall ones where much less of a chance of being able to do it. More than likely, it's going to end up just being like, well, here's a suggestion of what the next step should be. So, okay, I just saw a couple of responses rolling in. So let's see. It's 5:01 ish. I'll give it until 5:03 ish. So, yeah. Let's see. Working on the leads method while watching the stream. Very good. Very good. Okay. Oh, I might put some of my ancestors on there that may have me stumped. Maybe some tricks. Possibly, but the ones that are stumping you, especially anyone who's been doing genealogy for a while, it's probably going to be a little hard for the stream. Mystery Moon, I submitted mine. It is a brick wall for me, but I think it is because the names are so common in the area for that time. If I got picked, I have a line that's not a brick wall that's very interesting. LOL, actually, a couple of lines. Oh, okay. We'll see. We'll see. Maven just found out a guy I work with was my little league coach, probably. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Berivar, I submitted. Has there been no change from the 11? I wonder why it hadn't come through. Oh, because this is just Google. I just haven't. I have to enter it myself. So, yeah. My keyboard will work. All right. I have one of those Wi-Fi keyboards, or not Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth keyboards, and sometimes it gets a little glitchy. Okay, come on. You can do it. I'm working on trees for my friends during this. That's awesome. You know, when I first really started diving into genealogy and getting like absolutely obsessed with it, it was actually building a lot of my friends' family trees. Well, I guess it's not completely true. I became obsessed with it building my own family tree, but I'd be hanging out with a bunch of friends and, you know, we'd be just chilling and just talking about stuff. And, you know, family stuff would always come up. And half the time my friends would, oh, I don't really know that much about my grandma, or I don't even know my great-grandparents' names, or I don't know this, or I don't know that. Like, oh, you don't? Well, let me see what I can find. And next thing you know, I'm on the phone with their parents, like getting information, building stuff out. And they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I would do that too when I was at work. I was actually working as an optician for a while. And, you know, sometimes the store would be slow and nobody was there. And we'd be sitting around and I just start doing something, pulling stuff up. And I remember there was this one girl I worked with where she was like, oh my gosh, my grandma or grandpa or something had a sibling who died really young, and they always told us about them. And we never believed that it was real because of this or that. And we've never found anything on them. Could you find them? And next thing you knew, I had like the grave, the location, the this, the that, like the birth records, all that, and gave it to them. And they were like, oh my God, this is amazing. And just, you know, and that was, gosh, that would have been what? That would have been like 2013, 2014, sort of, you know, just doing that kind of stuff. So yeah. All right. I guess we'll just kind of, yeah, we'll leave it there. I was waiting for more people to submit, but we'll see. I think I'm going to do this one and then I'll do another one. So if you don't get chosen on this one, don't worry. There's still probably going to be another one. And once I finish today's stream, the next time I do it, it's going to be a clean slate of submissions. So if you submitted this time, the next time I do one of these streams, if you're not chosen, you'll just have to submit again. I'm not going to have any limitations on people doing multiple submissions in the sense of like, you know, I don't want you submitting like 3 times for a single stream. I should have it set where you can only submit 1 per email. But basically, like if you get chosen for this stream, you can still submit the next time I do a stream. So just trying to keep it. Yeah. Trying my genealogy riz. Yeah. What can I say? Okay. There you go. I don't even know if anyone caught that. It just went up 1. So 5. All these people submitting, and it's going to be still one of the first ones. Oh, this person, this is one of the ones that didn't submit a username. Wait, is this? Oh, no, it's not the same. It's just a very common whatever. But if this person is here, let me know. I'm going to give them a couple of minutes to say, hey, that's me. If they're not here, I think I will jump to the next person. I know I gave a little bit of leeway on the last one, but, you know, it's probably not that hard for someone, I guess, to say, you know, hey, that's me, because that's what Ascertain did. So, okay. So if this is you, let me know. But I had to take a double take because we're looking at another Fox family. But okay, I'm trying to see if we can find information on my second great-grandfather on my dad's side. We're trying to find his father, grandfather, great-grandfather. So basically your second great-grandfather's father, grandfather, great-grandfather. That's what I read of this. David Fox was born in 1822 in Pennsylvania, the son of Mr. Fox. Mr. Fox. He married Amanda Mallory, and they had 8 children together. He then married Amanda Mallory. Oh, okay. Married her twice just to make sure. Died on September 26, 1869 in Jefferson, Iowa at the age of 47. What research have you done? Quite a bit. I have a tree on Ancestry, one on WikiTree. I was one of the volunteers that helped work on your tree during the last challenge. Okay, cool. I do have an Ancestry tree, but I also have this. Okay, I'm not on Reddit, unfortunately. That's fine. All right, so I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to give them... Okay, Bonnie. Okay. Oh, this is your actual tree. All right, so I'll give Bonnie a couple of minutes to kind of get in here. If I know she's in Discord, so if anyone's in Discord, give her a ping and be like, "Hey, you got chosen. Get in the chat now." All right, so here we go. We've got David Fox. So before we talked about what to do when you start reviewing a tree on Family Search, well, now we get to do the same thing on WikiTree. So both collaborative family trees, meaning that the goal is that they're only creating one big tree for the entire world. So if someone else puts in David Fox into the tree and they see, oh, David's already in there, they merge the profiles. So same thing as Family Search. And so one of the things we're going to talk about is looking into the changes and just seeing, same thing as last time. It's a lot of the same person. We've got Bonnie and we've got Lindy Jones in 2024, but still mostly Bonnie. And yeah, so oh, Mallory. I heard Mallory and immediately thought of VTH. Whoops. Yeah, not Chris Mallory. No, different. Oh, I should make this bigger. I just realized how glitchy that looks on the stream. So, all right, give Bonnie a little bit more time to get in here. Well, I do wonder, actually, let me look in Discord, because I think she might have even actually responded and said, I don't know how to change it to add the username. Give us some time. All right, but still useful, just kind of for everyone. So just kind of going through just to see, what has been going on with this profile, how much has it been changed or edited. Then just seeing what we have here. There is a parent brother here. So that's really good, because now that means that we can do some family ancestor or fan research, family associates and neighbors, or friends, associates, and neighbors, as some prefer to say. So we have all that info. David Fox, born about 1823 in Pennsylvania, passed away in September, died from consumption after serving in the Union Army during the Civil War. His enlistment paper has his occupation listed as being a miner. Okay. Many people list him as either George or Albert with middle name David. I list him as David because my great-grandfather's death certificate has his father listed as David Fox. Okay. But the question with that is, do the records show him with all of those names, or are they coming from somewhere else? His wife Amanda is often listed with the surnames of Mallory and Moore. The only surname I can verify is Mallory via marriage record. I also have DNA matches to the Mallory line, so I'm pretty sure Mallory is the correct last name. Yeah, that makes sense. I cannot find any paperwork that would tell me who his mother and father are, so I'm unable to identify my third, fourth, and fifth great-grandparents' almost line, and that makes connections to WikiTree seem to be a bit further. Yeah, okay, that kind of WikiTree deals the connection stuff. So DNA paternal relationship is very confident by an Ancestry DNA test match between Yvonne Marie Napier and her third cousin, Dee Cowan. Their most recent common ancestor is David Fox and Amanda Mallory. Predicted relationship from Ancestry DNA, third cousins based on 30 centimorgans across 4 segments. Confidence extremely high. Okay. So that's good to see, the DNA match. That's very confident. Now, one thing to say, having only a single match at 30 centimorgans across 4 segments does add the question of, is that truly through this David Fox and Amanda Mowry connection, or is there a different connection that they don't know about that this is DNA coming through? At such a small amount, even as third cousins, it does make sense, but it's still just, it's very limited evidence. So it doesn't mean it's wrong, just means that we would prefer more DNA matching and more triangulation to be confident that it's coming from the same ancestry. Now, are they related? Definitely. Yvonne Marie Napier and D. Cowan, they are definitely related. They do share this DNA, but are they related? Adam, 30 centimorgans is only 7 or 8 centimorgans per segment, which is, that's fine. Especially, with Ancestry, the only question that I have here is this the weighted or unweighted? Because it could be the weighted, especially at 30 centimorgan DNA. Usually when you see smaller matches with smaller amounts of DNA, that's where you see the Timber algorithm working more. And so your weighted versus unweighted DNA is going to be offset even more. But with having it where your segments are only 7 or 8 centimorgans, yes, they are on the low end of things in the sense of a confidence segment, but especially because the DNA is being defined as extremely high confidence, this is getting into the confidence of the DNA reading. So a lot of times on this channel, I will talk about confidence in certain things. And actually, I don't know if Dan Edwards is in here, but I know this is kind of one of his soapboxes that I see him comment about every once in a while. But unfortunately, that's kind of the name of the game with some of this stuff, is using terminology that often has a very specific meaning in this that kind of translates to a lot of other stuff. So great example, confidence is one of those things. Another term that I know a lot of people like or a lot of genetic genealogists hate is when people, well, how accurate is it? Well, accuracy is a statistical analysis. So I know this is kind of one of Dan's things. I don't know if he's in here, but he might actually laugh when he sees this. I'll have to look out for his comment. But when they're talking about extremely high confidence in this reading, what they're talking about is the confidence that the readings that they're getting, the segments, are true segments. And so even if they are 7 or 8 centimorgans, they're still going to be true segments. And when the confidence says extremely high, what that's really referring to is the reads being confident. And what I mean by that is that when they look at your DNA, they're looking at different spots on your genome, what we like to call the SNP markers, single nucleotide polymorphisms, SNPs. You have about 700,000 or so that are read when they're doing these DNA tests. And each spot, when you look at the actual reads, what they're doing is they're going and reading, but each time they go through the read, they're not always getting a read on each SNP. So sometimes SNPs will have more than others. So when you get into the nitty gritty of it, sometimes you can have segments which have a lower confidence just because they had a lower confidence in reading the specific SNPs because of these issues in the read. So this gets especially important for anyone who ever does whole genome sequencing. And especially if you've ever seen the Nebula whole genome sequence, well, they have different kinds of tests. Somewhere in here. Okay. So they have different kinds of tests, and they have your deep, and then they have the ultra deep. And really, what is it doing? It's the reads. So for the deep, they're doing 30 reads, 30 time sequencing. So basically, they're going over it in a sense 30 different times to get these reads. Thanks, John. I'm diving into other stuff to give her a little extra time, because she really, I do know she did a lot of stuff on my week. But then you can pay more for the higher reads. So it gives you a much, much better confidence and higher accuracy, which obviously, let's see the info. By reading and decoding your DNA multiple times, we can significantly increase accuracy. 100x coverage means that every letter of your DNA is read on average more than 100 times, thus providing even higher accuracy. Excuse me. Okay. Just realized I had Discord open. So, I don't even know if you guys could read that because I was so small, but that's what the high confidence really is kind of getting into. So, a lot of times when I talk about admixtures, I'll talk about, confidence in the admixture and, all that. And that's the thing that I've seen Dan recently, he did a comment about that. But, it's still, I use that terminology because it makes sense. It's an idea of how confident can we be that this segment, or not this segment of DNA necessarily, but this segment they're reading is whatever admixture population is correct. And so, that just, for the layman, that makes a lot more sense than trying to be very jargony and like avoid saying confidence, just because confidence is used in another way. But that's my opinion. So, yeah. Is there a YouTuber I should do a family tree video out of? I don't know. I mean, all the YouTubers that I do their family trees, I get their approval first. And not only that, I'm also getting them to agree to, do it and be involved. Basically, everybody that's I've done a video of for my YouTuber family tree series, they've been very heavily involved in the process. And most of the time, I'm actually befriending their family members because they're the ones helping me out in various ways, because I want to keep stuff kind of secretive so that, when the YouTuber sees it, they can do it. So I don't know if I'm familiar with your channel, Blake. Let me take a look. Blake is here. You're just starting. You're at 90 subscribers. Yes, I mean, I would suggest that if you do try to do that, get in touch with them. I know that, when I do celebrities on here, it's kind of, not quite the same. I'm not getting the celebrities' approval, but every celebrity that I do, they already have public family trees where I start out where all you have to do is do a Google search to get to where that is. And then I always do ancestral, never really try to focus on descendancy. Have you done any British YouTubers? I mean, I've done YouTubers with British ancestry. A lot of them have British ancestry, but, well, I guess depends on what you define as British. Would you define Cornish as British? hint, video coming out tomorrow on Max Miller's family tree, which I should say, I can't believe I didn't mention this. Give Bonnie a little bit more time to try to get in here. New video, YouTuber family tree series is coming out tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I think that's 3 p.m. UTC. And that's going to be on Max Miller's family tree. If you have not seen it already, I have a trailer short that I've released on this channel. That's basically kind of the intro. So it just is it's about what the episode's on, which is that Max Miller's grandfather was adopted and he wanted to find out who his grandfather's biological parents were. So I helped them out. So that video will be coming out tomorrow. But if you are on Patreon, which I actually just saw this pop up, so perfect. If you're on Patreon or if you're a YouTube member, one of the paid Patreon, not all Patreon, but Patreon, a paid Patreon tier member or a YouTube Genie member, you already have access to watch. So if you want to become a Patreon supporter or something, I greatly appreciate it. And then you get access to this video along with other stuff too. I don't even know if a lot of my Patreon and Genie members realize that I have a whole playlist of stuff, like some examples. I did a reaction to Mayim Bialik's DNA results. I did one to the loose women. There's a couple of other ones in there that are exclusive videos just for those people. And yeah, who is Max Miller? Oh, Max Miller, Tasting History with Max Miller. I would say one of those channels that I feel like every time I see that he's only at like 2 million subscribers, I'm like, wait, what? Because he honestly, I think he should be like one of those, 10 million subscriber channels. But he's been on, his channel has been around less than my channel's been around. So yeah, he's even got a cookbook. So yeah, and then funny enough, this video here, his baked oysters video, is based off of the research I did for the first episode I did on him, looking into his mom's ancestry, which traced to some oyster planters in New York. And thus he did a video about baked oysters from the 1880s, because that's when his family was doing it. So you can go watch that on his channel. Wait, why do I have 200? I don't know. But if you go to his channel, but also if you go to my channel, then you can see that video here, Love, Intrigue, and Oysters, Uncovering Hidden Family. So, yeah. In fact, if you after the stream today, go and binge my videos, everybody. I would love that. Help me out. All right. Well, I haven't seen Bonnie get in here yet. I think what I'll do, since I don't see her in here, and she has done a lot for me and has been a big member of the community, so I'm not going to just leave her with nothing. So the main thing that she's really trying to do is expand this family tree further back. And so the ways that I would go about it, number one, the question that I'd have is, how much has she looked into Jacob? Based on this, what I'm seeing in WikiTree, it looks like she's done a lot of work onto Jacob, and it's based on DNA, and so it's a lot going on. Okay, so yeah, I guess I need to look at this a bit more before I start suggesting stuff necessarily. I guess a few things that I would definitely suggest: more DNA testing within the family. With just that one match between you and that 30 centimorgan match, could be a little bit better. To have some more. Born in Pennsylvania, 1823, and with a name like Fox, it's a very common name. That stuff's not going to help. Now, ancestry-wise, we've got stuff going all the way back there. Yeah. I think one of the big goals that I would aim for is find out where in Pennsylvania is that coming from, because it seems like even though the birth is listed as Pennsylvania, most of the records are not tied to Pennsylvania. It's basically, we've got all these Civil War records and stuff, and then post-Civil War. What do we have? Do we have anything pre-Civil War for David? All right, let's do this. She mentioned an ancestry tree. I just want to see if I can pull up this ancestry tree mentioned. That's 1869. Death 1869. Here we go. So David George Fox. Let's see. Many people listen to this. Okay, now in this tree, they've got parents. Oh, yeah, there she is. William has nothing that shows he went to Pennsylvania where David was born. It seemed logical to me that David could have been born in PA. The reason being is that William lived very close to PA, pretty much across the river. Okay. So there's a belief that this could be it. DNA-wise, there seems to be something. And this one doesn't have the Jacob Fox. That Jacob Fox here, but here we've got completely other people. And then the birth dates for these siblings, that's quite a big leap. David Fox, residence date 1840 in Lebanon. And this doesn't make sense to me. I don't think this is the correct David Fox, that he's got this 1840 census. And the reason is because 1840, 18 years old, right? 1840, they're listing the head of the household. Granted, he could be technically the head of the household at 18, but when you look at the people in the family, we've got one free white male, 50 to 59. One free white female, 20 to 29. One free white female, 50 to 59. Persons employed in navigation of canals, lakes, and rivers, 1. Free white persons, 20 through 49, 1. So it's not matching up because we don't have a male who would be 18. We only have one male living in the house, age 50 to 59, presumably David Fox. And it seems very unlikely that this would be a mix-up because more than likely this woman, 50 to 59, I would presume is the wife. And this woman, 20 to 29, presumably I would think is the daughter. So, based on all of that information, I would say very, 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 very low confidence that this 1840 census is this David Fox. And I don't think, she doesn't have it here. Yeah, Foxy stream tonight. Yeah, so many. If people were coming in and out of the stream, you'd be like, wait, is he still researching the same family? I thought they were Jewish. What's going on? Okay, good to see. All right, so she'll be in here soon. So what this guy's got going on here, questionable. So that, not saying that doesn't mean that the David Fox we're looking for wasn't in Lebanon, but it's definitely not this David Fox, because for them to think he's 50 to 59 does not make sense. Does not make sense if he was 18. It's one really old looking 18-year-old. Bonnie, you're here. Okay, good. Good. Okay, so you missed a little bit. You'll have to rewind a bit afterwards to see. Now here we've got this David Fox, 1860, living in Jefferson, Dubuque, Iowa. Now this is matching up much more in line with what we expect. Birthplace is Pennsylvania, so definitely thinking, Pennsylvania. Wife's from Ohio. All the kids are born in Ohio except for the youngest born in Iowa. So that's telling me that if all the kids are born in Ohio in 1860, then they would have been living in Ohio. Did you mention living in Ohio? Because I saw the Iowa. I saw them in Missouri. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you do have it. Yeah, you have the original marriage and all that. So we've got pension file. Yeah, see, the Fox name just makes it so difficult. It just makes it so difficult because I mean, the number one thing I think at this point is figuring out where in Pennsylvania he's coming from. Whether or not it's from this William Fox and Susan Harker, that's certainly possible. It is a very odd family setup or family dynamic, I guess you could say, where, he's born 1822. I need to plug this in. Hold on. He's born 1822, and then he's got a bunch of siblings born in the 1840s and 1850s. That's certainly possible with how old the parents are here, William and Susan. But if that is the case, I would also think that they probably have a lot of kids in between that too. It happens sometimes that people will have a kid, wait a bunch of years, and have more kids later. But I'm thinking that's not quite always the case. If you hear hoofbeats, don't always think zebras. Or what is it? If you hear hoofbeats, think horses, not zebras. That's what it is. Something like that. I don't know. So, there's a lot of questionability with what this guy's gotten here. At the very least, it seems like he's doing a lot of presumption that he's doing in the tree and not necessarily marking it. Like if, for me, especially a public tree, I would be tagging this like, actively researching and not confirmed and, stuff like that. But then we've got this William Fox who's living in Burlington, New Jersey. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't dove into this, or for all my AI fans, I haven't delved into this that greatly yet. Obviously, only what I've seen on stream, but a lot of questionable stuff here. The William Fox is listed as the suggestion of Ancestry, and a lot of the family has taken that one and said, we're done trying to find this because we've tried for years and can't find anything. And that's a shame. That's a shame when people do that, but it happens. People are just, easy and lazy versus, reality. Bonnie, we've been trying to figure out where in Pennsylvania, and I had cousins say that the area in New Jersey where William is relatively close to the Pennsylvania border. So he thinks it could possibly be, I'm guessing you're going to say Philly. I mean, that's possible, but then again, Philly, the areas along the New Jersey border there's a lot, there's a lot of Pennsylvania. And even, if you consider, what would be today a 30 or 45-minute drive from the border of New Jersey as far as you can into Pennsylvania, covers kind of a lot of ground. Let's see, Vince. It'd be great if all of this well-researched genealogy could be added or conducted on WikiTree so that we could all benefit from it. Thanks for all your work. Well, I would say the same thing about Genie. So everybody add everything onto Genie as well. I mean, all the collaborative trees, it's whatever one you prefer. I prefer Genie, so that's where I update everything. I do put some stuff here and there in WikiTree, but, I've said it before, I'm only human. I only have so much time. And Genie's my preference. So, but obviously, if I find anything for Bonnie, which I really doubt, this is an actual brick wall, I'm sure she'll put it on there. Possible. Yeah. I originally had it that way. Then I removed William as the father and his wife because it just didn't mess with me. So I put his father's last name as Fox. Yeah. I left my mom's name blank because I can't find a paper trail that goes between. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, definitely some interesting theories that are in this, in the ancestry realm. But it sounds like you're kind of the same thought that it just doesn't make sense. Jackie boy, why are you crying, puppy? What's wrong? What's wrong, baby boy? I don't know if you all could hear it, but my dog's in the back just crying. It's like, I'm not getting enough attention. Please give me attention. All right, we're at 24 responses. All right, so I mean, I'm not quite sure where I would really go from here beyond. I mean, the main thing is figure out where in Pennsylvania he's from, because without that, I think the only other place to really dive into would be DNA, and I'm definitely not handling DNA on a live stream because that is way too much privacy issues to deal with. Puppy boy, it's okay. It's okay. You're a little dog. You're a little dog. So, well, and David supposedly has a brother who was born in Pennsylvania and lived in Wood County, came as a DNA match, played DNA matches, stopped David. Yeah, so that was one thing I talked about that you missed. I talked about the DNA match I saw that you listed in there, the 30 centimorgan match. So, you know, definitely want to get more. And I guess the other thing too, which you may have already tried this, but look in the family tree and see, can you find Y DNA descendants to do DNA testing? I don't know if they have a tool like this on WikiTree. We have one on Genie where you can look at an ancestor and basically see what living descendants would be eligible to do Y DNA testing. Granted, on Genie, you have to be within a certain distance of relation for you to be able to see their private information, or what they allow for the family tree relation stuff. But yeah, I mean, that would be the big thing, looking for that Y DNA to see if that can help you too. Because especially with the name of Fox, and if they're coming from Pennsylvania in the early 1800s, my guess is that family's been around in the U.S. for a couple of generations before this. You know, at least, I mean, could be wrong. You know, maybe David's father was the immigrant. But basically what I'm saying is that I would think that you would probably find Y DNA matches with the Fox name or something similar to it. Because I would imagine there might be a large family that David's coming from. So yeah, so I don't know if any of that is super helpful for you. Let me move this over here so I don't accidentally keep clicking on it. But I mean, overall, I mean, you know, this was kind of the worry with these streams is, you know, having these brick walls where it's really just suggestions. Because I mean, once you find where in Pennsylvania, then it becomes so much easier. But until then, I mean, let's just see. Just Fox, birth year 1822. Let's give it a 5-year gap. And born in Pennsylvania. We're gonna make them all exact. Actually, yeah, let's do a 1 year. Granted, we still want to keep the years up, but so yeah, I mean, we're looking over 1,000, and at best, maybe add it. Let's see what specifying gender. All right, so specifying gender. Now we're just under 1,000, which I guess is kind of possible, in a sense. But yeah, I mean, you're still, yeah. Then a lot of stuff you're probably dealing with is here. So actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm trying to think if I can do. Basically, I want to set it. No, I don't know if that'll help. I'm sure you've done this search with with David Fox, but doing just Fox. Yes, I mean David Fox, not him. And pre-1860 is when. So the first record, I think, what's the first record you have? The earliest record you have tied to him, where it's like, this is definitely him. Is it the 1860 census? Is that the? Let's look at the family search sources tied. WikiTree. Okay, so the Ohio marriage record, 1848. So sometime between 1822 and 1848 goes from Pennsylvania to Ohio. So at least we have that 22-year gap to work with. Presumably, probably a little shorter than that too, because I imagine that he was in Ohio a bit before getting married, but maybe not. So we know for sure 1848 is the earliest out of Pennsylvania, likely earlier. So that gives us a little bit of a timeline. Collaborate wise. born PA, married. Yeah, that's Lucas, Ohio. Okay, so that's the Jacob Fox that we were looking at on WikiTree. Okay, and here's from Yvonne Bonnet. Pretty sure that this just, yeah. So sources. Pretty good sources overall. So yeah, so I mean, we're still kind of just stuck in that spot. But I mean, the main, at this point, the way I would define the main genealogy goal is identify where in Pennsylvania David's from. Yeah. One thing I will say in matters that I've had similar to this is that it seems not too uncommon with with matters like this that I've dealt with, that the person's birth date was often off in a weird way. So great example, my second great grandfather, Abraham Nunez Vaz, on so many records, his birth date was 1867, 1867, 1867, looking all over the place, 1867, born in London, should have a GRO record, could never find it, finally was doing something to figure it out, and ended up finding that he was actually born like 1861 or 1863 or something like that, ordered the GRO record, it was definitely him. And so I know I've had that happen in other cases where it's like, we have this person, we have this birth date, we're trying to find the birth record or some other thing connected. So that's, that would be the way to go. And then you start looking and it ends up being just that one little thing that's off of the birth date. Sometimes it's the name, sometimes it's other stuff, but yeah. So, all right. Well, I think I'm going to leave this one at that. Because that's really the main question. And I think it's going to be too in-depth research to be able to dive into anything else at this point for this one. So we're going to jump, I think, to the next one. So Bonnie, you'll have to go back and rewatch everything I said. Hopefully that's helpful. But now we're going to go and look at what else we've got. We'll do one more for today. Getting close to over 2 hours of streaming. So the next one, I don't know how long I'll dive into it, but we'll see. We're up to 26 submissions. And I'm going to use the random.org one just to change it up a little bit. So 13. Number 13. Bearvar. Bearvar, are you still in here? Hopefully so. No, right. Benvar. I'm pretty sure it's Bearvar. I know I saw you in here earlier. So, all right, well, we'll read through it, give them a chance to say that they're here. But I'm loving what this says. What's the main goal of this research? Finding Dutch Jewish ancestors. Awesome. So list the names and dates. All right. So Betja Esther Eliezer de Vos, 1810 and 1903, born in Nijmegen, Gelderland, Netherlands, died in Whitechapel, London. Little known about ancestors from the Netherlands. Okay, research on ancestry and my heritage. Not sure I understand Dutch naming convention with patronyms and de Vos, or what we like to call a tussenvoegsel. Tussenvoegsel. Or what is that? Yeah, tussen between voegsel. Voegsel. I don't know. I know John Boren at Roots Tech was trying to get me to pronounce that properly. And every time I'd see him, I'd go through like 10 different pronunciations and finally be like, yeah, that's it. And then I'd say it again. He'd be like, nope, got it wrong again. So, all right. So let's take a look what we got. So Esther de Vos. Here. Hello. Good. All right. So for this one, I am going to build No. Ancestry's changed around their menus so much that my muscle memory keeps going to the wrong button. Okay, so let's see. Esther Betcha DeVos. $18.10. In Gelderland. Gelderland. I keep going the wrong spot. And then 25 May 1903, Whitechapel. Which to me says that most likely part of what was known as the Huts movement or the Chuts movement. Basically 19th century, a whole bunch of Whitechapel, London, England. Why aren't you coming up? Okay, fine. Basically a bunch of Dutch Jews migrated from the Netherlands to the east end of London. And yeah. All right. So we've got that set up. And then we don't know father. It's going to make us add it. Now, something I should say here, and this is what I like to do when I'm doing trees. If I don't know the name, I will do 5 underscores. 2, 3, 4, 5. Why do I do 5 underscores? We're going to actually call this the... oh, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to change this around. So I'm going to do a tether tree for this so I can do all of my trees in here. What do I call this? Live stream family trees. Okay. Yeah. Tussen Voxel. Tussen meaning between, and then Voxel meaning something else. But whenever you see like Vander clock, Vander is the Tussen Voxel. Or de Jong, de is the Tussen Voxel. So like Dick Van Dyke, technically his last name is Dyke, and the full last name is Van Dyke, and the Van is the Tussen Voxel. So not super important necessarily for genealogy purposes, but it is good to know when going through the records that, you know, most of the time you're going to see the Tussen Voxel in there. But yeah. So we're going to remove that. And so tree. Oh, Jackie boy. You might actually need to go to the bathroom. Mr. Betcha. Oh, wrong place. Let's move that over there. The Voss, 1810, 1903. Female, 1810. What is it? London, England. You sound like you're from London. All right. So we'll do a quick add in here of like sibling, or not siblings, but like the, you know, the basic stuff that people have. Mark Snyder, is that it? Yeah, Snyder's. I mean, yeah, it looks like, I mean, people already have it. Makes sense because the Netherlands, you know, they've got tons of stuff. So Marcus Jacob Snyder. A lot of the children are being born there. So the main place we're going to go, Vivas V. Who was who? Veen was ik. When was I? Wait, no. Would it be Veen ik was when I was? Still learning my proper Dutch pronunciation and word ordering. Okay, so De Vos is a very common name, but we know they married in. Well, we'll just do. All right. Lots. Start. Where isn't? You know what? We'll do the Groningen archive. Not much. Kind, that's a birth record, so not helpful. Okay, well, what were people saying? What were people saying the parents were? Elias de Vos and Rosia Benjamin de Vos. Same here, Elias, Rosia. So let's look at now. One thing with Dutch records is the wife will go by the maiden name. So we're not going to look up Rosa. Let's look up Snyder's. Let's see if we can find this marriage record. Is that the right one that we want? I think so. All right, now, what was his first name? Mordechai. Or Naaman. All right, it's probably not. All right, we're gonna have to do it that way then. Oh, yeah, sorry, you're right. She was, but doesn't Groninger I thought that also. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, my bad. My bad. You're right. You're right. You are right. So, Esther. We have some Esters and we have some De Vos. It's Arnhem, Apeldoorn. You know what it could be? No. All right, let's see. Snyder or Snyders? Okay. See? Wait, did he have? No, it's just Snyder's. He doesn't have one. Nothing. Not finding anything. That's yeah, open. Yeah, see, I guess I'm so spoiled with the Amsterdam archives. I don't use the other Netherlands archives as much. But yeah, your open archives is a good one. Let's see, because basically what I want to do is I want to find the marriage record. What about when did they get married? Do we have an idea? 1842. Married 1833 in Amsterdam. Ooh. Oh, okay. Well, let's change it up then. I know, Jackie boy. I know you're all woofy. My dog just came by, gave me like, he walked by to lick the back of my leg. Like, didn't you hear me crying? Okay. So we're gonna look in index. I know, baby boy. I know. I'm so. That's not it. 1833. When in 1833? They had an actual date too, September 25th. That's it, really? Okay. All right, let's try Snyder's thing. See, and that's surprising. Oh wait, what am I thinking? Oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. I'm looking for an Onatra register and post 1811. Sorry. Okay. The reason why I'm feeling like an idiot is because 1811, there's a change to civil records, and before that, they did Onatra registers. Yeah. All right. Noord-Holland's Archief for after 1811. Yeah, but isn't that for the that's like the Huliks register or whatever. That's the ones that you have to order where it's like the 13 or 14, unless they digitize those. I didn't realize. Is it food time for my dog? No, it's walking time. That's what he's crying about. That is what he's crying about. So okay, well, all right. Let's look in Noord-Holland then. The first archive that I ever ordered records from was Noord-Holland's Archief for my third great grandparents' marriage in the, what was it, 1860? I think it was. So this is one of the beautiful things about a lot of the archives too. You don't even have to search for where to search in their databases. You just search right on the homepage. So look in our wie was wie Zoicha. Well, the other, I guess, one thing that I didn't think of, when was she born? Esther's born 1810. She should be in a bevolking register. Well, actually, I guess if they weren't living in Amsterdam, maybe they went to Amsterdam and get married. Okay, yeah. So, just like thinking through all this different stuff. Okay. 1850. Let's see. We were getting records for the kids. Where were they being born? Should tell us. Born in Amsterdam. Honestly, you know what? I think I'm making this too complicated. Family Search has so much of this stuff already too. Mr. DeVos. Amsterdam. Say zit in Amsterdam. Okay, so we've got birth 1833, birth. Did she actually get married? 1833. Oh wait. Oh, I did any. Why did I do any? Or, you know, we won't do that. We'll do 1833. 1833. Esther. All right, let's try something else then. All right. Birth. Yeah, exactly what I'm searching. See, I never have this much difficulty, I feel like, finding a lot of these records. Okay. It's probably because I haven't been searching that yet. See, if the kids are being born in Amsterdam, I would think they'd be living there too. So Betcha, and this is the birth of Jacob. Rachel. Okay. So we'll change that up then. Let's change that. Don't need spouse. Okay. Betcha DeVos. Birth 1812. 1812. 20. If this is her, that's even better because my birthday is September 29th. Is that's not what they that's not what they were guessing in here, was it? That's what we're trying to figure out, Rob. We're trying to figure out what the parents' names are. So technically, in here, we have people that have it listed as Eliezer and Rosia Benjamin DeVos. But some weird stuff. For one, Rosia is a DeVos as well, which seems odd that, you know, she has the same name. Granted, it's possible. So I just want to find the main thing I'm trying to find is just the marriage record. I'm just on a thing to find the marriage record. Oh, you found it. Interesting. Yeah, see, we know here these different Betcha. His name is Marcus Jacob Snyder. Search for that. In North Holland? Or you're talking. All right. Oh. Yeah, the name is Betcha DeVos. Okay. Hernamen. Oh, Viva is V. Okay. So Jacob. Ah, no pluralization on the Jacob. There we go. Oh, Jacob Marcus. Everybody's finding it except me. What was that? Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah. All right. Oh wait, no, I'm not looking at the right thing. Here we go. Mother Rose. Fane what? What is that? Yes, I know. I know that it's a patronymic, but in a lot of these, the name they would take it as Simons, Jacobs. You see that a ton with the Dutch Ashkenazi families. So, yeah, father's not listed, which I'm guessing means the father may have passed away at that point. So, but Dr. Van Rosia de Vos, Geen something, no something. And we have his father, Zon van Jacob Abraham Snyders. So, yeah, I don't know if maybe she was illegitimate. My Dutch is not quite good enough yet. You're een kind. I don't know what this means. Wait. I don't know what the ERK is short for. One of my Dutchies might know. My Dutch isn't quite as good, but een kind. Een kind. So yeah, if anyone can speak Dutch pretty well, is it saying that she's says something here about the parents. Oh, but for the rooms, personal in these. Yeah. So let's see if we can find a notarial record. Not it. Different one. So a lot of notarial records are digitized and have been put through Transcribus to then get this. I don't think that's no. I'm trying to. Doctor. No, that's a De Jong. The mother is unmarried and father has not come forward as the father, then the child gets the mother's name. Yeah, Erkind. Okay, recognize one child that was born before marriage. Okay, Erkind. Interesting means recognized. Erkindane kind. Interesting. And Naiman probably also in the Hueliksa Beilachen. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's certainly interesting. I mean, the people on Ancestry, people on GenieNet, they all seem to be thinking that the father is this Eliezer DeVos, but as I already mentioned, it would be weird to have someone with the same, Rosia marrying an Eliezer, but it's certainly possible. But I think what is a possibility here is that people are just assigning a father because that's the easy way. And if it's kind of, if it is a deal of illegitimacy, then yeah. Now this is where those records, the package one that you order would come in. I don't know if they have it digitized, but if you know what I'm talking about, where it's like for the bride and the groom, it will have like the bride's birth. It'll have like records related to things going on, like with the bride and the groom and their parents and all of that. Let's go back actually. What am I doing? So are these just the general links, or is it linking me to the specific record? No, it's just a general link. Okay. Just a general link. So that's the only related record. Interesting. Oh, yeah, look. That seems like a decent day. Seems like a decent day. Okay. So let's go back here. Marcus Jacob Snyder's. When is Marcus born? Marcus is 27, so he's born what, 1806-ish? So this would be him. Obviously not going to be helpful in searching for her, but okay. So Amsterdam, Gemeente, Noord-Holland, Provincie. Okay. So born, Vota. We have, yeah, not really much of anything, but just interesting. So, all right. Not much on it. Let's see if we can find him as just Marcus. There's really like no records on him in Amsterdam. So they must have just been traveling into Amsterdam to, take care of business. So notarial consent means that there's basically like a notary public sort of thing. Like there's a notary that they had this notarized, and so in the records, like that was what I was searching through here, is that you can find all these notarial records, which will be just different business dealings and things why you would need a notary, but they can be really, really helpful and might go into great detail about it. So I think this is it. I think this is the notarial record that we are looking for specifically. Yes, it is. So let's close this. Okay, he's a Koopman and lives in Amsterdam 1833, as do his parents. But doesn't show up in the bevolking registers, or at least not an 1806 birth date. All right, so this is... That's not just giving us the same. We just didn't find the same record in another way. Is that what we just did? Yeah. Yeah, we just found another way to find the record. I guess I could have found it that way. All right, so let's do this then. We want to find both of those. Granted, there's only 8 options to choose from. So, is that when they started, 1850? I guess one easy way. Yeah, I guess 1851 was the first year. So, yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah, I guess with the bevolking registers, the other thing I always think about is the fact that, they were kind of, for lack of a better term, attacked during the during the war by the resistance. The whole thing with Willem Arandius and them blowing it up and all of that. So I know a lot of it was missing. So I think I might have just kind of never really thought about the years available and all of that. Okay, let's did it. Still searching. Oh, I think I have too much going on. All right, let's just simplify it. Zoika. New. New. Oh, they lived in London in 1850. Okay, yeah, so not going to show up in registers. So, all right. So the next big thing would be to find them in the notarial records, and we may not be able to find them in here. Oh, I did the same thing. We may not be able to find them by doing a search. You may have to go another way in finding the notarial records, and that would be through the inventories. Oh yeah, so the archive, the notaries. No, I'm not sure which inventory is the right one. Okay. So here's as examples, like here's one of the notaries, and then here, so it's a very difficult process finding the notarial stuff sometimes. So got to find the right years to find the right thing, there were certain notaries that did certain things. So like I know that for like a lot of the Sephardic Jewish related notary stuff, there's only like a handful of notaries at that time that seemed to handle a lot of that. Let's see, Neek. Huwelijks by Lachen should be in Amsterdam, 1833, Register 3, Folio 75, but hard to find. Okay, yeah. I guess you can. I mean, I think that's what I'd ordered from the Noord-Holland Archive. I think so. So, yeah. Oh, this is. Let's get some examples of what some of this stuff, you know, I mean, it's all various stuff in the notarial archives they can get. Does her name imply she was Ashkenazi or Sephardi? It implies Ashkenazi. Yeah, definitely implies Ashkenazi. Possibly could be Sephardi. I mean, at this point, we know Roja is correct in her father's name, Benjamin. 1, 2, 4, 3. So, yeah, a lot of stuff that you can get from this. So, all right. Well, with that, I think I'm going to call it here because we did find a little bit here for Bear-Var. We got a lot of stuff started for you, but I will say, because I definitely think that I've got, it looks like Neek's on a roll. Definitely, you all beat me out in finding that marriage record. I can't believe it took me that long. But you know, if you do want to continue working together on this, I suggest jumping into the Discord. I can't remember if some of you were in it or not or whatever, but definitely check out the Discord. John Tyner, what is the distinguishing factor between Ashkenazi and Sephardi? Well, kind of a loaded question. I mean, it's the basic thing here. I guess I'll answer this before I end the stream. I mean, first of all, the basic of, you know, Ashkenazi Jews are the Jews that were in the Germanic Empire areas, I guess you could say, and the Sephardi Jews were the Jews who had been in Spain. And both of those groups had descended from the Jews that had been, I guess, kind of part of the Roman Empire. And so with Sephardim, when you're looking at this time in place, there's a few things to consider. But the main thing here is that there's 3 waves of Sephardic Jews. There's the Eastern Sephardic Jews who left Spain and Portugal well before the Alhambra Decree when the Reconquista was happening, most of them ending up in the Ottoman Empire. The second wave are the North African Sephardic Jews who largely left around 1492, around the time of the Alhambra Decree, basically just crossing the Strait of Gibraltar, getting into Morocco, North Africa, and all that stuff. And so that's why they're the North African Sephardim. And then the third wave, the Western Sephardim, which is what Amsterdam is a part of. And those were the Jews who'd gone from Spain to Portugal before Portugal enacted their Inquisition. And then when Portugal enacted their Inquisition, they Jews there then had to convert. They were forced to convert, unlike Spain, where they had an option to leave. You know, not a long time to leave. They had 4 months, but still an option to leave. But in Portugal is basically you have to convert or you die. So the Jews of Portugal then basically ended up escaping, relearning Judaism, and created the Western Sephardic communities, which include Amsterdam, London, Livorno, Hamburg, Jamaica, Curacao, New York, other areas. And so that's kind of the basic thing. For Jews in Amsterdam, the Sephardic community was the first one that started. Sephardic Jews had been in Amsterdam in the 1500s, and the first Jews really documented in Amsterdam are the late 1590s. The community gets going in the early 1600s and really flourishes and becomes kind of like the main hub of the Western Sephardic diaspora and kind of becomes a major hub of the Jewish world in total. I mean, you know, just think about how big Dutch shipping was over the, you know, past 300, 400 years, and then realize that a lot of that also had to do with the Dutch Jews that were in there. But for the Sephardim versus the Ashkenazim in Amsterdam, with the Sephardim creating their community first and building a lot of things up, and then the Ashkenazim coming in more later 1600s, the communities don't really mix. It doesn't mean that they don't necessarily work together and all that, but it was a scandal for someone who was Ashkenazi to marry someone who was Sephardi. This changes early 1800s. A big part of that having to do with Napoleon taking over the Netherlands, his brother Ludwig, who's very much beloved by the Dutch, basically kind of ruling the area. And with that seemed to come sort of a, I guess, progressive sort of wave of thinking for a lot of these Jews. And so in the 1800s is when we start to see the first common marriages between Sephardim and Ashkenazim in Amsterdam, where it's not a scandal. So why it's important here is that, distinguishing where they're coming from will determine what records we look at. Because the records for the Portuguese Jewish community of Amsterdam, the Sephardic one, is a very different one than the Ashkenazi. So for the most part, there is a lot of overlap in different areas, but for like the Portuguese Jews, they have the Portuguese Israelita Gementa, the Portuguese Jewish communities records that are immense, very, very filled with tons of stuff. I've gotten into a lot of these records here before, but they tons of stuff. Birth, besnijdenis is circumcisions, huwelijk, the marriages, overlijden, burials. So it makes a big difference. And the way that most of the time you're able to determine are the Ashkenazi or Sephardim in Amsterdam, usually you can figure it out by the names. So Sephardim have had surnames for a long, long time. You find the surnames of the Sephardim tracing back to the 1500s in Amsterdam. For surnames for the Ashkenazim, you don't find that until post 1800s, when all of the Netherlands was required to take surnames, which a lot of people in the Netherlands didn't have surnames at the time. So the Ashkenazi Jews were part of that, where they were doing patronymics. So for a lot of the Ashkenazi Jews, you'll often find in the names that they use, the surname will be a patronymic sort of surname. And then if they do have a non-patronymic style surname, it'll often be a bit more of a typical Dutch surname. So it's not a hard and fast rule thing. It's a little difficult sometimes. The main way to truly tell is you go into the records and find for sure that yes, this one person was part of the Sephardic community. So like if we find that they were giving fintas, which is the taxes that the people paid that were part of the Sephardic community, we find that, we know, okay, they were part of the community because they're giving taxes to the community. So a lot of that kind of stuff going on with trying to figure out who is who. But for the most part, I want to say you can tell right off the bat. So yeah. Oh, good. You just joined Discord. So yeah, you'll be able to bring a lot of that knowledge to it. Hello, Grumpy Bosnian. You joined in right at the end, but thank you for joining. And I see we got someone from Twitch coming in. Hello, Simon. Keller Kellerin. Oh. Both from Amsterdam. I'm guessing you're talking about the parents. My pleasure. Nick, found them. Huwelijkse Bijlagen, Marcus Jacob Snyder's Betcha de Vos link in Discord. Let's bring that up. Might as well just bring that up. Okay. Let's see where you put it. Oh, I don't see where you linked it in the Discord. A few people. Oh, you leaked it in. Yeah, okay. You leaked it in the intros. All right. Where are you doing? There we go. Okay. So yeah, so this is the breakdown of all this different stuff. So yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to help break this all down for them. Nietzsche, Aaron de Jong. Rosia Sitters. That wouldn't be the same Rose. I'm yeah. Very, very cool. Thank you for finding this. So yeah, so Bearvar, you're just gonna have to jump into the Discord to get that info. So awesome. So her father is Linder Elias. Was a clerocoper, clothing salesman. Yeah, I guess Tira. So, cool. All right. Well, once again, I said it 3 or 4 times. I think that's going to be it for the stream. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This was a lot of fun. I think I'm definitely going to do this again. Really lucked out here with the Dutch stuff at the end. Granted, it's my specialty, and I was taking way longer than I should have to pull some of this up. But awesome to have so many amazing Dutch genealogists in the chat as well. Thank you, everybody. Let me know if you enjoyed this and definitely want me to do this again. I'm sure I'll be back with, doing celebrity trees too every now and again. But big thing, be sure tomorrow, keep your eye out for the new Max Miller episode of YouTuber Family Trees, where I work on identifying his adopted grandfather's biological parents. So thank you, everybody, again. Thank you to all those who submitted. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. I think my dogs are doing a dance of joy because they know we're about to go out for a walk. Bye, everybody.